I'd like to welcome everybody to the February 25th, 2022 council meeting. We'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, we'd like to welcome everybody out this morning. First off, does any member of council have a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest with regards to any item on the agenda? If so, please state at this time. Mr. Borman?
No.
Mr. Nairn?
No.
Mr. Phillips?
Nope.
Mike?
No.
All right, moving on. Amendment and approval of the draft agenda. Does any council member have anything that needs to be changed?
Nothing. Nothing here? No.
Everybody good? Do I have a motion to approve the draft agenda?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Council discussion. Does any member of council have anything they'd like to bring up?
I got a couple things.
Go ahead, sir.
For everybody's information, the Brunswick County Literacy Council is going to have a Mardi Gras fundraiser on March the 1st from 6 to 9 at the Mackay Brewery. This is a great organization, needs support. You can look them up online and buy tickets online. The other thing that I'm concerned about is the Calabash River Bridge. It's going to start in about 2 years and take one and a half years to finish, which means anybody from this side of the bridge is going to have to go all the way around to 904 and Georgetown Road. Our first concern is the safety issue, because that's one of the two evacuation routes out of town in an emergency. And the other thing is, people being people, they're going to look for shorter ways to go. And I'm afraid it's going to make Sea Trail a convenient cut through, and actually would turn the roads in there to a highway. So I'd like the state to consider, they say it's too much money to build a temporary bridge, but this is going to be a major disruption for a year and a half. So that's all I have.
Mr. Foreman, you got anything?
Nothing.
Mr. Phillips?
No, sir.
Mr. Hargrave?
No.
Only thing I got is we just want to wish Katie a happy birthday today. She's our new lady here with us, and just want to wish her happy birthday. I meant to tell you that this morning.
Happy birthday.
All right, moving on. Public comments on agenda items only. Does any member? Go ahead, sir. Please state your name and address, and you know the drill. 3 minutes if you need it.
My name is John Farrell. I live at 624 Oyster Bay Drive, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Environmental Resource Committee. Later this morning, Chad will present to you a couple proposals that we want to make to council, and we ask that you would approve those. There's a short time period to get a lot of work done, and that's why we've tried to squeeze ourselves into this meeting. So we would ask for your support, and thank you very much.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Moving on to old business. Our Public Works Stormwater Department January 2022 report. Mr. Dustin Graham. If there's any, we'll just give them a chance to. Does any member of council have anything that you need to ask the Public Works Stormwater?
Nothing for me.
Dustin, I do. I have one question. Down in your list of things here, that it talks about driveway inspections. Those are during construction, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
What do you look for as far as they call you over to inspect the driveway, or you're looking for the culvert pipe underneath to be correct, or?
Yeah, I look at all of it. Actually, I try to meet with the contractor before he has to put a pipe in, or what he's going to do to make sure he puts the right side diameter pipe in.
Okay.
Then also about the driveway, if it's going to be concrete, he needs to form it up to contact me, let me go look at the forms before he pours.
Okay.
So there's a series of stuff that has to happen before that I have to go out and do.
Thank you. That's good. That's good.
Dustin, I had that same question, but why are you doing that instead of the inspections department?
In the town ordinance, it says that it would be done by the Public Works Department under the ordinance.
Well, that's a good answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
I have Dustin, one other question for you. I just saw. Where are we now? We were trying to move ahead with the stormwater plan, the 10-year stormwater plan. We were trying to move ahead on that, maybe finish it ahead of schedule of 10 years. Are we still on track to do it
Yes,
ahead of schedule?
yes, we are. There's in areas that we've done it ourselves in-house on certain areas. But yeah, we're moving right along. With easements back here has been cleaned out. The 3.5 miles is back here has been done. There's still some islands projects that need to be done. With the 4th Street paving that's will take place, there's a catchment 7 in place with that, with the 4th Street paving that would taking place. So yeah, we're moving quite along with it.
Thank you, Dustin. You know your job well.
All right. Wow. Moving on to the Fire Department January 2022 report. Chief Hosmeyer, does any member of council have anything for the fire chief?
Nothing.
I have one comment. I don't know if you people in the audience or on YouTube get the packet that is put out by Lisa before meetings of the planning board, the environmental committee, and the town council. But I encourage you to do that. All you have to do is, you go down to the front page of the town website, left-hand side, put in some information, and you receive the same packet we do here. And to look at this, and that's why I'm going to get you to look at this, it's amazing the work you guys do in 1 month. For the month of January, for example, you had total incident reports, 137 you responded to, 137 incident reports. And the department training hours was 629 hours for the month of January. That's fantastic. I think anyway, when I see those numbers, I see a fire department that's working, that's not sitting around or anything like that, is working hard. And I think you have a very good reputation in this town. That's what I'm hearing as a new council member. A lot of confidence in the fire department, a lot of confidence in response time in the fire department. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
You didn't have to say anything.
Paul, will you go through the letter that you just received from the state this week, please?
Yeah, so the letter I forwarded to council, and everybody within the fire department knows too, that we had our North Carolina Department of Insurance rating inspection February 14th. Typically, how that goes is they come in and do an inspection. They look at all kinds of different things within the fire department. Training's a big one. Then usually they say 60 days, we'll get a letter saying we're officially past our rating inspection, we're still a fire department, that sort of thing. But the letter that I forwarded out to you all yesterday, I think it was, says we already got that letter. So that was about 50 days earlier than we had thought. So somewhere in another 60 days, we'll get our insurance rating for what it is, and hopefully with all the work the staff of the fire department's done, and with your support, that rating will improve. So that's a good thing for the town and businesses and so forth.
Paul, great. Well, we've already talked about this. The insurance rates won't go down that much for residential, but insurance rates should go down big time for all our town businesses. And that's very important. I want to thank you for the great job you do to get ready for the inspection. And as a service the fire department provides, 2 of the volunteers will come and change your smoke alarm batteries or install new ones. You just have to call and set up a time. They installed 4 smoke alarms in our beach house yesterday, new ones. So it's a great service. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, if I may, not just me help with that inspection and improving operations and everything. It's a group effort. I can't do it by myself. So there's a lot of guys that spent a lot of time over the last couple of years improving what we're doing, and that's hopefully going to reap rewards as we go forward. And then the smoke alarms, and a big part of the inspection and what we do, reducing risk in the community, is helping people with smoke alarms and making that's huge. If there's a fire at night, you've got to have working smoke alarms. So if anybody needs help, they can certainly call us any day. If we can schedule something, we will. But if it's a chirping smoke alarm and it needs fixed right away, we'll come do that too. So
We know it's a team effort to get ready for these inspections and whatnot, but it starts with the leader.
thank you.
Yeah, we agree on that. Good statement.
All right. Moving on to our Police Department January 2022 report. Chief Claymore, does any member of council have anything for the chief?
One question. Chief, the most common event that you list here is special check. What is that?
Throughout the night, we check businesses in town to make sure that they haven't forgot to lock a door, haven't left an overhead door open, and when the officers do that, they mark it as a special check.
Okay.
Also, sometimes
good.
they'll mark it as a special check when they lock the town's bathrooms at the park and at the gazebo. Just shows a unit of activity that, the officers aren't just out there driving around aimlessly. That's what
I don't
that
think
is.
that, but
Justifying our existence, if you will.
okay.
Yes, sir.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Going along with that, again, if you have the packet and you see the totals for the police department for the month of January, all those checks and were over 616 and responses. And so I think that's unbelievable. I don't know what you have during the summer compared to this, but boy, you were busy in January, that's for sure. So Chief, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for their work. And again, as I said to Paul, the respect in this community for our police department is high, and it's very good feeling to have the police and fire, our public safety, so respected within the community. So that's good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. Moving on to the Building Inspections Department December and January reports. Mr. Kerry White, does any member of council have any questions for the Building Inspection Department?
Just a comment, Carrie, thank you for including the CO addresses, and now you're doing the new home construction permits that are issued. I think that's great information for us to have as a council, and I appreciate you now adding that in.
Yes, sir. No problem. No problem at all.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Finance Department January 2022 report. Ms. Tara Nichols now. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Tara?
Welcome back, Tara.
I was going to say the same thing. You made a wise choice. Just a quick comment, Tara. You have in the report here of course, budget to actual report that you give us all the time. Just one quick question. Do you have anything in there that we should be a little worried about, that we should be watching, that we should be concerned about? This is a report that says what's been spent during this fiscal year and what's left over type of thing. And just
yeah, I don't have any areas of concern at this time.
okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Very good to hear. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tara. Moving on, our Planning Department January 2022 report. Mr. Chad Stardupsky, the department head. Does anyone have any questions for him?
Not for me.
Looks like you get off easy.
Mayor,
You got
can
any
I-
comments you need to make?
Can
sir?
I add something?
You can, yes,
All
sir.
right. I didn't get this until after my monthly report was due, but I do want to add this for the citizens and the town. At the last ERC meeting last Wednesday, we had a gentleman come speak about a waterway cleanup day. That event is going to go on, and I'll give this to Lisa so we can post it in the doors. Waterway Cleanup Day, March 19th, 2022. Right now, the station started in Ocean Isle Beach Marina, but I think there's going to be enough
in citizen participation where they're going to have the stage 2 starting points. One hopefully will be in Sunset Beach. The other one will start at Ocean Isle. It will be from 8 to 12, Saturday, March 29th, Saturday, March 19th from 8 to 12. And there will be, everything will be provided. All you have to do is show up. Coffee and breakfast will be provided, and lunch will be provided, and you get a free t-shirt. I'll give this information to Lisa. That way we can figure out how to get this out. There is a link where you can sign up, but I did want to make sure that everybody knew that. So it's a community-wide project to help clean up the waterways in the area.
Sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving on to new business, the ERC request for Arbor and Earth Day event approval. Chad, it's you again, sir.
I thought she said it was getting off easy. So at the ERC meeting on last Wednesday, the 2 committee members, actually 3, with the help of John Farrell, obviously not working in threes because you can't have a quorum, but have been working in the background to try to prepare a Earth Day, Arbor Day event for the town of Sunset Beach. Before you have a proposal of a proclamation for Earth Day, Arbor Day, and Invest in Our Planet proclamation. The ERC has made an official motion to a recommendation to approve this. Along with this is the events that will go on at the Arbor Day, Earth Day celebration. It's and planning on doing it on Friday, April 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Sunset Beach Town Park. We have confirmed the 22nd to be a good date with Sendai. Once we get the hopefully approval today, we'll get an official application in for that. So the ERC is requesting that the town approve this, along with a budget not to exceed $2,500. There's the breakdown of everything they're looking to purchase and provide for the town for this event. And I do have the chairman, Mr. Farrell, here for the ERC, and one of the ERC members, Rich Bach, who has put in a lot of time and effort into this. If you have any questions for me, or if you have any direct questions to one of the 2 ERC members here today, they are available to y'all as well.
Does any member of council have any questions for the committee?
No questions.
No.
No, I see everything here.
All right, what's your consideration on a motion in regards to the Arbor Day and Earth Day proclamation and being able to put a budget not to exceed $2,500? What is your interest in that, council?
I think this is a good thing for us to support. I like the sentiment, supporting the environment. So I think that this is something that we should do.
And I will remind you that an Arbor Day celebration is required for Treacy USA as well. So
the one thing I will motion, Tom. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we support this event, please.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any more discussion?
No.
My only comment is this is I think a very ambitious undertaking, and I certainly support it 100%. And I wish you lots of luck in putting it together. That's for sure. And boy, advertise. That's all. Go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank y'all.
Thank you, sir, for y'all's work. Moving on, our disposition of directives for the March 7, 2022 meeting. Does anyone have anything that needs to be added, changed? Good, Mike? Good?
Good.
Charlie?
Yep.
All right. The 2022-2023 first budget planning session, Mrs. Tara Nichols. Go ahead.
So the fun begins. Basically, in this meeting, this is kind of our kickoff, and so it's more of us getting information from you all of any ideas that you have that you want to see in the budget this year, any directions that you want to give staff. And then I'll be meeting with staff over the next month, probably about that, starting today. And then, as you know, we won't really have the revenue projections until the end of March. And that's when we start cutting everything. But this is more of your floor. So tell us what you see that the town needs. Do you have anything that you want to add? Okay. So does anybody want to start with that?
So the starting point will be to maintain the current tax rate. That's
What's that?
To maintain the current tax rate for the budget. That's our starting point.
Yeah, I mean, it always is.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it just depends on what the projections come in at. So the North Carolina League of Municipalities and different state representatives, they come out with a report around the middle of March and say, this is what it looks like we have trending for the next year for revenues. Probably around the same time or in the next couple of weeks, I start getting projections from the county of what our property taxes look like. And then I base that off of what our collection rate is over the past couple of years of what our property tax look like. So that's pretty, we know what that number comes in at. It's the state intergovernmental revenues that we just kind of wait on to see.
Right.
So it always starts out that way. And then 100% council decides what happens with that.
But the only thing that we really control is the town tax rate.
That's it.
Now, the trending that we've seen that you publish on a monthly basis is showing that our revenues are trending upward.
Yes.
So I would think that would be a good sign for us and will enable us to include things that maybe we had not included previously when we were concerned about the pandemic and such.
Yeah, the only other changes that there would be is, as you all have noticed, our gas pump prices are starting to go up. So that's going to make other things increase in price as well. And so that is going to increase our expense budget a lot, which won't help our revenues. So we'll get more revenues, but I have a feeling that we're really going to have to pay attention to our expenditure lines and see what's going to happen with that. It's just another one of the things that we have to, I'll talk with each department head and see what that sort of thing looks like. So, because even before this, everything looks like it's starting to increase in price a little bit.
So from my perspective, with considering just general inflation in the United States and worldwide events right now, not knowing exactly what's going to occur with prices and things like that in general, I don't have any, even though we've been seeing month over month increases in sales tax, accommodation tax increases, things like that, there's nothing that I can particularly see that I'd want to add right now for the staff, to direct the staff to do anything on my behalf. I think right now I'm kind of in a, let's just kind of see how things shake out. The budget's a long process. Let's try to prepare for, it's been good for us somehow through the pandemic, but with everything else going on, I don't know that I believe that's going to stay the same. So from my end, I don't want to add anything at this point.
I'm good. This has worked well in the past. You've done a great job with it. I want to remind everybody that the first three budget hearings are March 21st and 22nd at 9 a.m. and April 11th at 9 a.m. You'll be able to watch on YouTube. If you have any suggestions, please send them in.
To add to that real quick too, I have that budget suggestion form on the website. So it is, it's on the website, and you can always email me. My information's on the website too. We definitely want community input.
Yes.
So if anybody in the community sees anything, that I just definitely want to add to that there is a form that can be submitted. So
Thank you.
Tara, I'd like to echo what Jamie said also, that it's a difficult time right now. And like you said, gas, you're going to have to pick a gas price eventually of what you're going to base your budget on, and I bet it's going to be a lot higher than last year. And so those things we've got to take into consideration and so on. I have one suggestion in talking to people in the town. Start looking at a new website. The website we have now has been great for a number of years. It is jam-packed with things. And that's been something that's been brought up to me on numerous occasions of start planning on a new website that could be more user-friendly, maybe would be the word. Some towns around us, I've checked their websites, and some have updated their websites recently, and things are looks a little bit nicer than ours. In case we've got a lot of information there, no question about that. It's a treasure trove of information if you spend time looking at it. But maybe it's time to change that a little bit. And I don't know the cost of that in any way, shape, or form for the future, so I don't really know that. So that's all I have.
With regards to the website, Tara and Katie and I actually have a meeting set up March 8th with our website host to talk just about that.
Okay.
Does anyone else have anything?
No.
Go ahead, Lisa.
With Mayor Pro Tem Corbett not being able to be here today, he did provide me with a list in writing of suggestions that have been made to him over the year, which does include things that this council has looked at in the past. So if you're okay, I'll just read through this real quick, and I'll point out what was either in this budget or is ongoing. First thing is rain gardens. We're still looking at the rain garden in association with the parking lot and the rain garden on the other end of town. And Matt has NC State coming in Monday, right, to talk to us about that. So hopefully we're hoping that that's going to be a free project from design to execution by a group of NC State school students. Aerators and fountains in the ponds behind us and at Fire Station 2. That is in this budget now. I don't know that we'll get those completed, but that is an ongoing. Stormwater drain baffles on the drains emptying into the waterway, canals, marshlands. That, again, is included in the stormwater plan that we all have and is ongoing as well. Couple of things we've looked at in the past, dog park, pickleball courts, kayak launch, gazebo, covered structure, center area for bands, concerts, outdoor activities in the park, living shoreline along the park. We've got the one living shoreline, and Dustin is in planning stage of doing the second living shoreline. I think we're waiting for CAMA. Right, waiting on the agencies to permit that. And then we have 90% of the material already left over from the first one. So that cost should be very minimal. And then additional park and recreational areas in town. So those are things that have been pointed out to him that he just wanted to be put on the record for. And like I said, most of those we're already looking into.
Anyone got anything else?
I do want to add one other thing. So I have been in many, many hours of meetings for this American Rescue money. Mm-hmm. And the latest suggestion or strong suggestion from the School of Government is that there is a $10 million allowance that we can take that we don't have to have all of this. It's like a standard allowance that we can just basically have a lot more authority on because we have much less than that. So it gives us more broad authority on how to use the money. Their suggestion is that in the next budget, use that on your salaries. And then basically you can put the ARP money into your fund balance and take your time and figure out how you want to spend it. So that for us is about just over, I think, 1.3 million, or right around 1.3 million, that we can really just focus on, see what the town wants to do with it, how it would best benefit the town. As far as reporting goes and things like that, if we do it on salaries, it cuts the amount of policies and procedures that we have to do in order for this money in half. And most of the towns I've talked to, that's what they're going to do with the money. It's supplanting, and so that you really can take your time with this money. Otherwise, everybody's like rushing through it and coming up with all these crazy policies. And then if it's on federal money and we buy something, if we sell it, we have to give the money back, whatever we got from those proceeds. We don't want to have to do that either. So this is just something to be thinking about. That is money that we will have that can be used very broadly. There's still things that it says don't supplant for this because it's not allowed. So
Just a quick question. Just roughly, what's our annual salary for the town? I mean, you have a rough idea? Nothing I'm going to hold you to, but I mean, just like you were saying, we can use this for salary.
it's at least that.
Right. I didn't know if it'd be like a year and a half or something like that. So that's where I was just kind of wondering.
No, it would be less than a year. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Tara, are you looking for direction from us now, or just
that's just
something
for
to
your
think about?
information.
Okay.
That's going to be, I think, many discussions going forward as far as what we do with it.
Okay.
Just that I will come to you once I have all those policies in place to see if that is what you want to do. We can do it in the next budget and just have it set up that way that this is how the money's set. If that's what we decide to do, there'll definitely be more discussion about it. That's just the latest information that we've gotten, and it really simplifies it for the towns. Without that allowance, I think that most of us would have had to pretty much give the money back because it was very specific and it would have been really hard to use. So this is really good news that we can use it for the salaries.
What's the time frame that we have to use the money?
It has to be encumbered by the end of 2024.
Okay.
Oh, good.
But if you think about these projects, like the stormwater projects and things like that, those are 10-year projects for some of them. So that's what a lot of the towns were going to have to use it on, and they wouldn't have been able to use it in time.
Okay.
So the project has to be complete by the end of 2024?
The project has to be complete by the end of 2026, has to be encumbered by the end of 2024. But then if there's additional costs or anything like that after 2024, that general funds.
Okay.
And as Tara and I are meeting with the department heads, we will be seeing if they want or have anything that they can use some of this money for. So we'll be bringing you several different recommendations or aspects of what that money can be used for, not only for the entire town, but as a department as well.
Thank you for your research on all that.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for your research on that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to our public comments. Does anyone have anything at this time? Go ahead, sir. Please state your name and address.
Yes. Good morning, folks.
Good
I'm
morning.
Steve Strini over on High Market Street, right across the street over here. And my concern here this morning is the town. I know the town, I guess, has been in negotiation with the Master Association to take the 4 streets over there. The core samples have been done in the roads for checking if the thickness or whatever. And in my association there on High Market Street, we have our own private speed limit signs, which say 15 miles per hour. And I know the town, if they do take the roads, they'll be in charge of the speed limits there. And I'm just here to urge the town, if and when they do take the roads, to maintain that 15 mile per hour speed limit, because I live on High Market Street, and all I got to do is come to my house, sit down, and you can see the cars whipping around the roundabout going down a road, and really excessive speeds. So I'm hoping you guys keep the 15 mile per hour speed limit, or even less if that's possible. But that's what I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Rich Serrato, 517 Twisted Oak Lane. Just a couple of comments. have a letter prepared for you, and maybe you can think about it during the budget session. But when I was on the council, at the suggestion of former council, the late Len Steiner, he suggested that we purchased a lot next door, and that lot cost $330,000. The purpose at the time was to keep it as it was until maybe someday we had to expand town hall or the police station. But you made a parking lot out of it. It cost, estimated cost, my estimate, about $350,000. It's empty. You clear cut all the trees. You made it a parking lot. And quite frankly, it's not very eye-pleasing. And what I'm suggesting is that we need to be more thoughtful of real parking problems. And the parking problems that the people have is parking on the beach for our citizens. With the excessive development taking place, it's here, it's now, and it's going to get even worse. If you look at all the development right outside of Sunset Beach, there's going to be a great demand for parking on the beach for our citizens. And I wish you would consider that. The other concern that I have is we're spending all this money on land. For example, we spent almost $800,000 for the lot across the street. Now, there's been a suggestion that we needed a new public works department. Well, you bought land behind the fire station too. And if you're going to build a public works department, which needs to be defined before we spend at least a couple of million more dollars, if we really need a public works department. But the point that I'm trying to make is, it seems like you purchased the land to build a public works department adjacent to residential areas. And I just think we have to be a little bit more careful and focus the funds that we have in maybe Tara's government plan to be used to purchase land on the island. It may have to be done by eminent domain, but it's going to be a major safety problem on the island, and our citizens deserve something. Thank you very much.
All right, anyone else? Go ahead, sir.
John Farrell, 624 Oyster Bay Drive. First of all, thank you for the approval on the proclamation and the event. Mike, you're right. It's ambitious, but we're excited and ready to go to work with town staff to pull it off. If at the conclusion of that, this will be something different than anything that I know of that's ever been done in Brunswick County. And I think it'll make the town proud. I'm also on the community action team for the Resilience and Coastal Communities program. And I haven't even talked to Chad about this yet, so excuse me if I step on your toes, but that activity kind of got to a point at the end of January where we're waiting for feedback from Moffitt and Nickel and the DCM about where we're at and where we need to go with this. That was the end of January. A week ago, there was a release of a new report by NOAA on sea level rise. And in the information that we had for the resilience strategy formation, Moffitt and Nickel had shared with us information that there was a little conflict, but the sea level rise they told us we could expect was somewhere between 2.5 to 7 inches every 30 years going forward. This release by NOAA said that the latest data and observations forecast that sea level rise will be about a foot over the next 30 years. And in my mind, that's a game changer. That puts a whole different spin on the risk and vulnerabilities we identified and the priorities that we need to establish for a resilient strategy for the town. So I just wanted to call that to your attention. I've got a lot of information about this that I've been pulling together, and I'll work with Chad to share that with everybody.
Thank you.
But this is a significant thing. So I thought you should know.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Anyone else? All right. Does any council have anything else?
Nothing.
If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.